A good day from Las Vegas. This is winnercircle.net Legends Edition of the College Football Preview Week 15. I'm your host, Chip Chirimbes. All champions here this week, each and every week at gamblersworld.net. We have Scotty Pritchard, one of the top handicappers in Las Vegas right now, and second in the Golden Nugget contest. Scotty, welcome aboard once again, part of the gamblersworld.net family, and you're still alive, 1/2 game behind the leader.
Long way to go, Chip. Happy to be here with you and Paul on a weekly basis, but I have to tell you, the Golden Nugget contest, 159 competitors, a 1/2 game out of second, looking good, feeling good, but a long way to go. Another 5 weeks, 7 games, ATS, no totals. I love totals, but it's all ATS, college and pro football. So we'll see. They give cash back to the top 20, so we'll see where I settle.
And this, of course, is not like the Survivor contest. Still 159 people are still involved in the contest. Paulie, you started in a contest over 14,500 thereabouts, and now you're down to 52, I believe it is. And you had 2 entries entering last week, and now you have 1 left. How'd that pan out?
Yeah, unfortunately, I went with the Cincinnati Bengals and didn't count on Joe Burrow's 3 turnovers. But these things happen in the NFL, and I could have opted for Tampa Bay, did not. Figured Carolina would win the football game and oust a lot of people. Didn't work out that way.
Right.
But 1 out of 52, hey, as Jim Carrey said, there's still a chance.
Right.
So,
as they say, Scotty, a chip in the chair. You know, this is the Survivor contest, to me, is so difficult because, Paulie, did you start handicapping this contest from the back going forward because of the Christmas week having 2 selections to be enforced upon you, and same thing on Thanksgiving weekend? Did you have to save those teams? Did you do it from the back end up coming forward?
Well, I did map it out, but the best laid plans, we all know what, how that works out. I had teams that I had pinpointed or earmarked that I was going to take. And at the point we got to that week, I had altered my selection. Give you an example, when the Rams went to New England on December 1st, all the way through, I was going to take the Rams and opted out of that because New England was playing much better football. Right. Rams end up win the game 28-22. So I've had to make some modifications along the way based on how teams were playing. But the basic bones of it, the structure, yes, I had to look at Christmas because you don't want to deplete yourself. You have 3 games on Christmas, Chicago and Seattle, coin flip, Baltimore, Houston, you could call it a coin flip. And at the time, you wanted to keep Kansas City over Pittsburgh, but that's no layup at this point. That could be a coin flip as well.
I think you have to have great foresight to be able to do it this way. I mean, I know I would have difficulty with it. But let's get to the college scene, which always, each and every week, seems to create controversy. Once again, I said educators are great with letters and reading and diction, but they're not so good with numbers. And it seems that Alabama is in, Miami's out, SMU can possibly be out if they get beat. This is probably the best college weekend as far as matchups, except for New Year's Day when you get those 5 games. And we have championship games all over the place. And let me start with you, Scott. I mean, we've got a big game starting early. Iowa State is playing Arizona State. The game's in Arlington, Texas. All of a sudden the Pac-12 couldn't win a Rose Bowl and couldn't compete against each other or winning other conferences. They've moved to the ACC, they moved to the Big Ten, and now here we are in the Big 12 with Arizona State against Iowa State.
Well, first of all, the Iowa State Cyclone fans, they travel well, and why wouldn't they? No one wants to be stuck in Ames, Iowa in the Midwest in December where there's absolutely nothing to do but watch paint dry. So they will travel well, but this game, as you said, Arlington, Texas, Arizona, their team, their crowd will travel well. Iowa State opened a 1.5-point favorite. The money has come in, and understandably so. Arizona State minus the 2, I think it's cheap. I really, the only thing I'm concerned about is if it's a 24-23 game and I lose by 1, but I'm comfortable laying the 2. I like Arizona State minus 2. See the cashier.
Scotty, we talked about how on games like that, sometimes prefer to lay the money line. That doesn't bother you laying the 2 as opposed to saying $1.35 or $1.40 on the game?
Great question. And I'm not opposed to laying a cheap money line on that, but knowing that 1 is ultimately the only number that can hurt me, I don't mind laying a cheap money line if I can, if the square number is 2.5 to 3, if I can get some perceived value and or equity on a money line. But in this case, laying the 2 is okay.
Paul, this Ken Dillingham did a great job with this Arizona State. They virtually came from nowhere. I think they won 2, maybe 3 games last year. This year they beat Kansas State. They beat BYU, which was a shocker to many people. 10-2 straight up, 10-2 against the number. And this number does seem cheap, like Mr. Pritchard says here. Iowa State is 10-2 straight up, 7-5 against the number. Do you see the Cyclones giving the Sun Devils a problem here?
I actually looked at the game, and I gave a slight lean to Arizona State, but not enough to have me pull the trigger. I watched the game the other night, Iowa State, Kansas State, and Kansas State was moving the ball very well. I think they should have won the football game. I think Iowa State has issues defensively, and I give credit to Rocco Becht. He's been at times lights out, and at times he's been more pedestrian. But I think these teams are going to play to the high side of the number. I don't have a decision on a side, but I would lean to the total. It's not a strong lean, but I think they will put some points up. Both will.
I believe the send out on this was the Cyclones were favored by 1, and then money came in Arizona State, and it moved to like up to 2.5 at one point. I think it's back at 2 on this. This is an interesting game. I'm really looking forward to it. It's this Arizona State team, guys. I don't know if you've seen them, but they come and they hit you, and they run the ball and they'll shove the ball down your throat. And I like seeing that. And the quarterback's been very, very efficient as well, both running and throwing the ball. More championship games in store. So you get all this information from Vegas's top handicappers right here at gamblersworld.net. I'm Chip Chirimbes, Scotty Pritchard, and the infamous Paul Bovey sitting here giving you our professional insights. And now we have big game winners, championship weekend on Saturday. Another big game, and there's a lot of storylines you can follow on this one. I'll start with you again, Scotty. We got Georgia and Texas in a rematch of the Longhorns' only defeat this year, 30-15 earlier this season. This game is in New Orleans, where the Bulldogs have some familiarity. They've played there a number of times, almost at least once every season. And for Texas, new to the SEC, new to the championship game.
Texas new to the conference, but they're not new to winning and tradition. I like Texas minus the 2 points in this contest, minus 2, 2.5, depending upon where you are betting. And I always say you want to have as many outs, as many books to bet at as humanly possible. The three of us already know there's a huge difference between 2, 2.5, and of course 2.5 to 3 is key. 18% of all pro football games are decided by that field goal. So again, key numbers, critically important. We know that games oftentimes will fall 3, 7, 6, 10, 14 in that realm, again, in that order, 3, 7, 6, 10, 14. So the fact that you can lay less than a field goal with the Texas Longhorns, respectfully, Chip and Paul, I think that people need to stop living in the past with the Bulldogs. Georgia, they've been a little bit fortunate, and that might be an understatement. I'm comfortable laying the short number with Texas.
All right, thank you. Paul, they met before, and in that game, Texas actually ended up outgaining Georgia. Beck threw 3 interceptions, and the Bulldogs still managed to win that game. Beck has been very disappointing this year. Like you've said before, very pedestrian. He only threw for 175 yards in that contest. Georgia, 3 covers in 12 games, 3-9 against the number. When you look at this game, doesn't the first thing come to your mind is revenge for the Longhorns in that the Bulldogs just don't measure up? I mean, that's my first impression. I thought the line might be even a little stronger. I think they're giving Georgia a really, a puncher's chance in this game.
Well, look, both these offenses have been very sluggish this year. I mean, look, Carson Beck has definitely taken a step back, and it's got a lot to do with lack of talent at the receiver position. I mean, there's no Bowers there, who's made great strides in the NFL, possible candidate for Rookie of the Year. But also on the other side, the Texas at times so sluggish on offense. I mean, you look at this game, and I would have to say it's a toss-up again, but I would lean to the under. What would take me maybe have me take a step back with respect to playing this is the fact that it's indoors. But I don't see these teams putting up a lot of points. It should be kind of a slugfest, as these teams have played to quite a few times this year. And I would stay to the low side of the total.
And, Paul, with their sluggish offense, it has been the Longhorn defense has come to the forefront. Number 1 in the nation, allowing only 11.7 points a game. Number 3 in the nation, allowing only 247 total yards a game. And number 1 and allowing only 4 yards per play. So the stats and the numbers stack up on the Texas side. They like everything big down there. And this is going to be a great game. I'm looking forward to it. Of course, that the idea that they've already lost to this team, I think, plays in their favor. And the fact that Georgia has been what we've seen. I mean, if you've been waiting for them to emerge and be what you might have seen 2 years ago or what you might have seen from Michigan last year, it's just not happening with that club. And we can understand why Texas is favored out of neutral site. Guys, we have one more thing. Let everyone know out there where we are. We're here at gamblersworld.net. We have monthly packages for everybody. Sign on, follow the buy links, give us a like and a share. And of course, you can subscribe. Make sure your friends get these winners from the sharpest people in Las Vegas, Paul Bovey and Scotty Pritchard. Guys, more big games. And by the way, don't miss our daily show each and every day. Gamblersworld.net, Winner's Circle. And this is the Vegas Legends edition. And we have a daily show hosted by Sean Higgs, and all the handicappers from the website are on there giving you their insights each and every day. And for the weekends, big-time games. And a big-time game right now, and 2 unlikely suspects in the ACC. Clemson, who many thought had no shot at getting anywhere after where they opened the season against Georgia. And Scotty, SMU, after an early season loss, have reeled off 10 in a row, quarterbacking change. And I think they lost to BYU 18-15, something along those lines, and been very competitive, explosive offense, really decent defense as well. Mustangs up against the Tigers.
I have to say, what a difference a few months, a few weeks make, because to your point with Clemson early in the season, I mean, they really looked bad, flat out underachieving. Oftentimes cream rises to the top. Mike Piazza years ago batting .121. We know at the end of the year he's going to dial in at 303 or 309. And that's pretty much what you've seen here with Clemson. They just flat out had too much talent to stay down for too long. But I'm telling you, man, I love teams. I'm a big Captain Mo recent trend guy. SMU, the Mustangs, 10 consecutive wins. My money on the Mustangs. Give me SMU.
All right, I can understand that for sure. The thing about Clemson, Paul, is that I don't see them as an offensive juggernaut, and yet the total yards this year in the college football, they're 466 yards a game, 8th in the nation. I was very surprised, also averaging 36 points a game, because do they beat up on the little guy once in a while when they get to play him? Because they really haven't been impressive when they've had against premier matches.
Yeah, I would agree with Scotty on this one. I looked at the game. There's been a line flip on this one. And I do like SMU. I agree with it. And I think they'll pull away to a fairly comfortable win. I'm going to go with the Ponies and the Mustangs.
Now, am I right in saying, Scotty, maybe, did Clemson open, or did they send out Clemson the favorite in this game to start with?
I believe they did. There's been a move, and it's been on SMU.
Yeah, that's for sure. Here's a little key note. Clemson has won 7 straight ACC championship games. And they've gone 6-1 against the number. That's pretty tough to go against. I think the game would probably stay under the total. Now, I want you to give us a like and subscribe as well. This is the game I'm looking forward to watching. I think it's got some great interest. Oregon moves from the Pac-12 and is now the number 1 seed in the Big Ten. And they'll be playing, Ohio State. No, that's Penn State. How did that happen? Scotty, the Buckeyes, I mean, they really, they took the apple last week, only scoring 10 points. Michigan dominated the ball on the ground, ran it right down the Buckeyes' throat. And now we have Penn State at 11-1, who most believe is not the best team out of the Big Ten. They don't seem to be able to win that big game every year. And do you want Ben lay down Franklin in this game? Nittany Lions?
I'm telling you, I mean, Oregon, the Ducks are a sexy team offensively, defensively. And I hear what you say. Ohio State laid an egg. I was on Michigan plus the 20 points a week ago. I was doing radio and TV all week talking about Michigan plus the points. But I'm telling you, I certainly didn't see Michigan pulling off the upset. So I understand, Chip, why people will say that perhaps Penn State, not one of the top one or two teams in the Big Ten, but I respectfully disagree. The fact is they're here. It's a 1-game contract, a 3-hour contract. I'm telling you this, I expect a close knockdown, drag out contest, and you're going to give me 3 and the Hook, Dr. Hook, sharing the night together, still be his mother. I'm in. Penn State plus the points. See the cashier.
You know, Paul, the image of these two teams is that Oregon, like you said, is the flash and the glory, and that Penn State's going to be your laborer, your worker, and their blue-collar guy. Penn State, a little bit better defense, only giving up 267 yards a game, and Oregon giving up 284, and their offenses are comparable again within 6 yards, 449, 443. You see scoring in this game, or do you think the defense is going to shore up in the championship here, Paul?
Well, I have to disagree with Scotty on this one. I'm not a fan of Penn State. Look, Franklin loves to run it up against those weak sisters like they did against Kent. But I took notice something early in the season when they played UCLA, who fought them to the end and they were gashing them in the middle of the line with their running game. And I really don't think Penn State is that good of a football team. Big advantage to me at quarterback for the Ducks with Gabriel versus Aller. And I think the Ducks are going to get the best of it. They showed me something, resiliency, when they beat Ohio State. I think it was 32-31. So I'm going to take the Ducks to pull away, beat Penn State handily, probably win by 7 to 10 points.
All right. You know, that's my mom used to say that's why God made chocolate ice cream. We have dissenting opinions here. And, you know, it's a big game. And this is it. You're getting the sharpest insights and personal opinions. You can see these guys aren't aligning themselves just to make it look good. Scotty, of course, likes Oregon here. I mean, likes Penn State, I believe. And it is Paulie that likes Oregon. I think James bend over Franklin. Every big game I've seen really makes it difficult to play the Nittany Lions here. The points, I think, are fair, considering when you could statistically compare these two teams, it comes down to really a coin toss. And they're both 5 and 7 against the total. I would have a tendency to think this game stays under the total. All right, I am Chip Chirimbes. This is GamblersWorld.net, and we are Vegas Legends preview edition for College Football Week 15. I'd like to thank Mr. Pritchard. Scotty, any final words about what you got going this weekend?
You know, I just got back from LA, Malibu. I went to the Intuit Dome for the first time, the $2 billion plus Steve Ballmer arena. The LA Clippers don't have much of a product, but they have a great arena. It's really something to see. I love SoFi Stadium right across the street there. But yeah, I'm back in town. I love going to as many games as humanly possible. It's always great to be back in Sin City, Las Vegas. Been here for 30 plus years. I love my life, love my lifestyle. And you know, when Paul Bowlby speaks, I listen. And Chip, I'm a big fan of you. Keep doing what you're doing, my man. It's working.
Well, thank you very much, Scotty. You know, I hope you got some surfing in while you were there.
That's the one thing I didn't find time for.
Do you have a board big enough? I'm just wondering.
That would be a hard no.
Paulie, what do you got cooking for this weekend? Anything good for us?
Well, as usual, I'm a very selective handicapper. Like last week, I think I only posted 2 NFL games. They both won comfortably, and I think I posted 3 college. I won 2 of them. Disappointingly, I lost the total on the Colorado game because Oklahoma State failed to score any points. Okay. But anyway, I will have selections up there. I have one now, and it's a huge one. Rarely do I release a game that early in the week, and I call them 5 or 10 dime plays because I have 5 or 10 dimes and I show the tickets. So there's one of those up there now, and I firmly expect to win it. I usually do. And, you know, let's, as Scotty says, let's see the cashier.
Paul, only 2 out of 3. Anybody can do that. We know
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
2 out of
It
3
was
is easy.
weak.
6 out of 7. I mean, I hear this every day. By the way, Dylan Gabriel for Oregon. I didn't want to close without mentioning this. Playing in what is his 8th or 9th year in college football. 74% completions on the year, 3,275 yards, 24 TD passes, 7 touchdown passes rushing. So that's going to be Penn State's Nittany Lions' mission to keep him under wraps for that one. All right, I am Chip Chirimbes, Scotty Pritchard, and Paul Bovey. Once again, gamblersworld.net, College Edition, Preview Week 15, Legends Edition. Good luck, everyone, this weekend, and have yourself a big-time winner. And what do you say, Scott? Go to the cashier, see the cashier?
See the cashier.
Log on, follow the buy links, and then see the cashier. Good luck, everyone.